Hi guys, Curtis here from Halco, and today I'm going to run you through a couple of different ways that you can rig up our Madeye Soft Plastics. So we'll start with the bigger soft plastics. Now I've got our 8-inch flick stick here and also the 7-inch paddle prawn, which are our two main big plastics. And I've got a couple of different jig heads here as well. So this one's 200 grams, so it's going to be for deep water stuff, and it's also got that elevator style hook that can move around. And then we've got another 200 grams, so also deep water, and a fixed hook. So that hook is fixed into that weight and the hook can't move around. So the way you want to rig these up is the most important thing is that they're going to be sitting straight. If they're not sitting straight, then they're not necessarily going to swim properly. If they don't swim properly, they're not going to look nice and natural and they might not get eaten. So if it's a plastic that you're not too used to rigging up, then you definitely want to measure to see whereabouts the hook needs to come out. So if you line it up just like that, I'll go, okay, on the top there, it needs to come out just in between those two arrows on the top. That's about where that hook starts to lift up. So when I put that on here, I get to the point where I marked in between those two arrows, a bit more, and then I pull it out, push it over the hook keeper, and there you go, that's sitting nice and straight, and that's going to swim really nicely. So the other one is the 7-inch paddle prawn, and it's exactly the same process with this one. One thing with this one is this lure actually has a top and a bottom. You want the tail to be sitting down. You get the best action out of it with the tail sitting down, so you want the hook to be coming out of the top of the plastic. Again, just measure it up to where it needs to come out. Again, it's sort of probably just towards that second arrow there. Feed it in nice and evenly. And this RST material that we use is super stretchy, and the reason that it's super stretchy is because if it wasn't and it was brittle, it doesn't last as long. So those, fish like snapper, they've got big teeth, they'll grind down. This super stretchy material, it lasts the longest by a long way. And see, that's nice and straight there. So that lure's going to swim really nicely. It's going to look as natural as possible, and hopefully I'm going to catch a fish. Now another thing you can do with these plastics to sort of increase your chances of hooking a fish is hanging an assist hook off the bottom. Now this method can start to look a little bit messy sometimes, but I assure you it does make a big difference to your catch rate, especially when you're chasing or you're fishing in areas where there might be a few big fish and it's the big ones you want to catch, but there might also be some small ones, like on our west coast we have breaksea cod and smaller pink snapper and things like that. You catch a lot of those fish hanging an assist hook off the bottom that you might not have normally caught if you didn't have it there. So these jig heads, they have a toe point on the top and one on the bottom as well, and it's that bottom one that we're going to hang the assist hook off. So a couple of things you need: fish ring pliers, so we've got our Halco ones, some split rings and some solid rings as well. I like using assist hooks with a bit of frill on there, gives it a bit of extra spice, and you're just going to want to loop that solid ring onto the assist hook, so that sits there like that. Then you're going to want to take your fish ring pliers and put one of these split rings onto that solid ring. So open that up, push it on there just like that. And then we're going to take that and we're going to whack that split ring onto the bottom toe point of this jig head. Just like that. Now there's a lot going on there. And if your line's tied to this top one, you probably don't really want that swinging around. Now we've got 3 hooks swinging around and sometimes they can get all tangled up. So what we like to do is take that assist hook. Now I've got 2 assist hooks on here, but if you've only got one, that makes it a little bit easier as well. Take that assist hook and just pin it in the bottom of the plastic so the hooks sit like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up to see where it needs to go. And then I'm just going to take this hook and just pinch the tiniest little bit of plastic there and then pull it nice and straight. Okay, so see, now that's sitting nice and straight and even, and those hooks are pinned into the bottom of the plastic. It's going to keep them out of harm's way. They're not going to swing around. Hopefully they're not going to tangle up. And you would be surprised at how many fish actually eat that bottom assist hook. Now I know that looks super messy. There's heaps going on there. There's bits hanging off everywhere. But that method, especially in deep water, you catch plenty of fish on it. So I urge you to try and give that a go next time you head out fishing. So if you're not heading out deep, you're only using smaller soft plastics, the process is still exactly the same. This is our 4-inch Madeye paddle prawn. Again, you want to make sure that that tail is pointing downwards, and we've got some smaller jig heads. This is a mustard one here. And you just, again, even probably with the smaller plastics and the lighter jig heads, it's more important that you make sure that that plastic goes on straight. So measure out how far you want it to go, and then just really take your time making sure that it all goes in there nice and straight down the middle. And I just sort of press the plastic and push it up onto the hook little bit by bit. And taking your time can make a really big difference. So there we go, nice and straight. So there you go guys, there's a couple of different ways to rig out Madeye Soft Plastics. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, whack that subscribe button and the like button, and follow us on the socials, Facebook at Halco Tackle, Instagram at Halco Tackle. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.